You may recall this scene from this time last year where chemicals were found and detonated on a home on Applegate Lane in the Highview community. This was a story that we covered extensively as neighbors wondered what would happen next.
And now that house is leveled, but the man who lived there still has a case going through the court system. WDRB's Darby Bean explains what's happening now. Darby?
Guys, the house right behind me is the neighboring house where officials say Mark Hibble had been squatting. He lived at the property on the other side, which has now been leveled, as you mentioned, and really all that's left there is the driveway.
They took it all away, the basement walls, everything.
Looking across the property where he's lived for 25 years.
The only thing left's that driveway.
Charles Sondergeld can see what's left of 6213 Applegate Lane, where explosives and chemicals were found inside just last summer.
So if there was any potentials there, it's gone for sure.
This was the property last year. The house, owned by Mark Hibble, became the center of a massive cleanup after police got a tip that Hibble may be in possession of homemade explosives. Police said Hibble is a chemist by trade and admitted to having laboratory-grade equipment and chemicals. He was arrested on charges of burglary and wanton endangerment.
Well, I knew him, not real good, but I knew him pretty well. He used to cut through here and talk and all that stuff.
Ahead of the cleanup, the house was quickly fenced off and under 24/7 police surveillance. At one point, there was an idea for a controlled burn to get rid of what was inside, also described as a hoarder's home.
Smoke goes up and also drops down. I didn't like the idea at all. I argued with them at the meeting on that, or at least brought it up.
In the end, the house was demolished. The EPA confirmed mercury was found at the house next door, where officials said Hibble had been squatting. We've now learned the EPA finished its work there last November. EPA records show that neighboring property is a Superfund site, which allows the EPA to clean up contaminated locations. The agency says the total cleanup cost was $1.8 million. Property records show it's now owned by America's Properties, with a value of more than $180,000. Hibble's property next door is now a vacant lot, assessed at around $35,000.
Well, I feel more comfortable about the whole situation and just hope nothing happens like that again. But unfortunately it does, and it's usually in an area where you least suspect it.
Hibble is scheduled to be back in court soon. This is a story we will continue to follow.
Right, we'll follow along and see what happens. All right, Darby, thank you so much for your reporting today.